record of the gel in our lab notebook. It's important to date every page. Some people like to cut away most of the gel picture, but I think it's important to show the context, including the latter. People say that lab tape is really expensive, but that's just a rumor. Okay, now we know what band we're going to cut out. much extra agarose as possible. Cut out only as much agarose as you need to get the band. We're going to place the gel band inside a microcentrifuge tube. Perfect. Nice. Now we need to weigh the tube so we know how much gel is inside. Okay, we've weighed the gel and it weighs 100 milligrams. We're going to label the tube with the weight of the gel. It's really, really, really important to label your tubes. Inevitably, you're going to knock your rack over and they're all going to get mixed up. So it's important to know which is which. We're gonna need to prepare a second tube for the balance so that our centrifuge runs smoothly. The weight of the gel is important because it tells us how much agarose dissolving buffer to add. We can find that buffer inside the DNA recovery kit. There's a few things in here. First, this bag has all the columns. The columns contain a matrix that binds to DNA and then releases it. The collection tubes fit the columns and hold the waste that comes off of them during centrifugation. Agarose dissolving buffer is formulated to dissolve our gel slice. Wash buffer has ethanol in it and it removes impurities. DNA binding buffer is actually used when we're purifying DNA from liquid, not from a gel. We don't need it today. Elution buffer. This is used at the very end. It's going to be a fresh tip each time we go into the buffer so that we don't contaminate it. Next, we have to incubate our gel slice in the agarose dissolving buffer. So we're going to go take it and put it on the heat block right now. We'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Okay, so the gel slice is completely dissolved, but I took my gloves off during the 5-minute break, so I'm going to put fresh ones on. I guess it was an incubation, but oftentimes it just feels like a break. Okay, so now you can see the gel slice is completely dissolved. You can't see it in there anymore. So the next step is to put the DNA over the column so it can bind the DNA. And this will let us spin out liquid so we can clean up the DNA and put it into fresh liquid. There's the column. And here's a tube to hold the column. It collects the waste from the column. So again, we're going to use our pipette to move the liquid. Sometimes I like to use my other hand to steady the pipette tip, especially in the morning when I've had too much coffee. So now we're going to use our little centrifuge to force the liquid through the column. You always wait till the centrifuge is completely stopped before putting your fingers in. Okay, you can see that all the liquid has flown through the column. And I'm just dumping out the waste liquid. We can reuse the same waste container. Here's the wash buffer. And we're just going to put it through the column, just like the other. Even though this has ethanol in it, it's probably not a good idea to drink it. So now we're going to spin it again. elution buffer to the column to get the DNA off. And we'll be done. They only give us a little bit of elution buffer because we don't use very much. So now, since the tube is in the column's in a tube, not a waste tube, the lid can't fit, but that's okay. We just don't worry about that. So now our DNA is in the fresh buffer. You can see it here at the bottom. And you can see here the column, the white part. And that's the part that the DNA was sticking to before. So it's always important to label your tubes. You don't want to accidentally throw away the wrong one. So now we can measure how much DNA is in the tube by using UV light. So we measured the DNA, and in this sample there's 50 nanograms per microliter of DNA. So we're going to label that on the tube so we always know how much DNA is in that tube. And we'll also write it down in our notebook so we can keep track.